Note down these quotes. Note down these quotes. Just give me a minute. Note down these quotes. You've noted these. These are proper quotes, no interpretation needed. I've given, but the rates may be wrong. Okay, I just drafted it before the class, so the rates could be wrong. I've not looked at the practical rates and all, so let's not worry much about that. This is as it is. What is the expansion of this? 0.80 hyphen 0.85. Third, fourth, fifth, all that is fine. Okay. Now I'll keep doing some 10 questions from this so that you get grip of what we are trying to do. Once we get grip of this, Forex is over. I can keep adding any number of questions, but Forex gets over at that stage. First question is, how many US dollar is needed by 1 lakh GBP? This is a question. How many US dollar, right? How many US dollar is needed to buy 1 lakh GBP? This is a starting direct simple question. Now I'll tell you the challenges which students face in exam. I have this rate here, GBP per USD. I need to buy 1 lakh GBP. Four answers are possible. It can be 1 lakh into zero point 0.8 or 1 lakh divided by zero point 0.8. 1 lakh into zero point 0.8 could be the answer, or 1 lakh divided by zero point 0.8 could be the answer. That is, you may use the bid rate and multiply, or you may use the bid rate and divide. You may use the ask rate and multiply. You may use the ask rate and divide. Every question on Forex will ask you this question, whether you have to use the bid rate or the ask rate, whether you have to divide or multiply. If I ask how many INR is needed to buy 1 lakh GBP, mind is very fast to tell 1 lakh into 82.5 or whatever the rate is given. You will understand that it's multiplication. But when you have a currency which is not an INR in it, you will find it difficult whether I have to divide by zero point 0.8 or 0.85 or multiply with zero point 0.8 or 0.85. A Forex question will ask you this multiple times. Every problem will preempt this question to you multiple times, saying that whether I need to do this or I need to do the other one, whether I need to use the bid rate or I need to use the ask rate. Invariably, even after solving 50-60 questions, students keep making mistakes there. Keep making mistakes there. The reason is your mind forces you to make mistakes because you go with the notion saying that this is what will happen. You see here the word buy, no. Moment you see the word buy, your mind will say, I have to use bid rate, I have to use ask rate. Somewhere your mind tells you the answer, which is not needed. You should never go with the preconceived notion that it is going to be bid or ask. That I don't want. Second, I also don't want you to decide whether it's division or multiplication. Both of it, if you decide before, you will end up making a mistake. Now, how are we going to answer this? Is I go through series of steps. This series of steps make my answer little lengthier. Initial problem, I'll go through all the steps. Later on, I'll go through some of the steps in my mind and I'll give you the answer. In case you're not able to follow the answer, what you need to do, you'll have to again write those steps. You'll have to again write those steps. So later set of question, those steps may not be presented in the printed solution. Sometimes I may not even discuss it in the class also. But at some stage, as you become faster, you'll feel that you can do it. With me also, after doing so many questions, wherever I've tried skipping a step, I have made mistakes. So I also make mistakes. You will obviously make mistakes. If I'm looking at this for so much time and still making a mistake, obviously you are also going to make a mistake. Let's do this now. Right, known component 1 lakh GBP, known component 1 lakh GBP. KC is called known component. What is known component is something which you know. In this question, I know it is 1 lakh GBP. In this question, I know it is 1 lakh GBP. Known component does not mean it is my currency, it is other currency, nothing like that. Known component means something you know. In bracket, are you going to buy GBP or sell GBP? Read there and tell me. Write in bracket buy. Known component 1 lakh GBP buy. Unknown component. Which is the other currency you want to calculate? Question mark USD in bracket sell. Question mark USD in bracket sell. Okay, this is my first step. Knowing which is the known component, which is the unknown component. That's a very simple step you need to do. Second step is I need to find this question mark. I need to find this question mark. Either I write it in the left hand side or right hand side, that question mark. So we normally write it like this. USD is equal to GBP. I don't want to write anything. Okay. USD is equal to GBP into. I should write something here so that GBP gets cancelled and USD come in the numerator. GBP gets cancelled and USD comes in the numerator. Again, I'm explaining what I do for my step is USD is equal to GBP into what should I write there? So GBP is cancelled. First, I write GBP in the denominator. I write GBP in the denominator. So GBP has to get cancelled. And what I want in the numerator is USD. Any doubts? This is my second step. This is my second step. Third step is you'll have to look at that quote. Do you have it? If you have it, okay. If you don't have it, you'll have to expand this USD per Australian dollar per Singapore dollar per this. You'll have to keep expanding that. That is one calculation we have to do. Now, in this stage, I need to know what is my denominator currency. What is my denominator currency? GBP. What are we doing with GBP? See above and tell me. What are we doing? Buy. If we are buying, bank is going to sell it. If we are buying, bank is going to sell it. If we are buying, bank is going to sell it. Bank will sell at what rate? Ask rate. So I need the ask rate. I need the ask rate. This is how I decide whether I need the bid rate or the ask rate. I need the bid rate or the ask rate. I'll repeat again. I look at what is the denominator currency. No known component, no unknown component. Don't get into all that. What is the denominator currency? What denominator currency is called product. Denominator currency is called product. What are you doing with the denominator currency? And what is the bank doing with the denominator currency? What are you doing with the denominator currency? And what is the bank doing with the denominator currency? What are we doing with the denominator currency? We are buying. Bank is going to sell. Bank is going to sell at what? Ask rate. Now I have expanded this. Beyond this, it becomes like the problems you have been doing till now. So listen, 1 lakh. Do you have USD per GBP in the question? No. Do you have GBP per USD? 1 by the bid rate. 1 by the bid rate. What is the bid rate? 0.80. Answer is whatever it is. Now, what students will do is, I have been answering this multiple times. You see the word here, buy. You see the word here, buy. You have seen the word buy, which means you are buying, bank is selling. You have to use ask rate. All that is fine. Then he will ask me, why are you using the bid rate? The doubt will come to me saying that, why are you using the bid rate? I have answered this doubt at least 1,000 times to students. So whatever last 4 years I've been teaching, I've answered this multiple times to multiple students, because your mind has already decided what you want to do. Why I've used this 1 by bid, that is 1 by bid. So student in a hurry just sees, okay, 0.8, 0.85. I have to use ask rate. Let's use 0.85. Let's use 0.85. All that will not work. Again, I'm repeating. After doing this so many times, I can make mistake. Obviously, you will also make mistakes. So never rush through the solution. Never rush through the solution. You may say that this is taking too much time. No, it will not take you much time. As you start doing it, your pace will improve and automatically things will fall in place. Now, you can write this in a minute. This is what you have to do. Find known component and unknown component. Known component in this question was 1 lakh GBP. Unknown component is question mark US dollar. Identify the base formula. Base formula is unknown component is equal to known component into question mark. That question mark you will have to find out. Then look at what is the bank doing with the denominator currency. What is the bank doing with the, first you find what are you doing, Then identify what is the bank doing. If bank is buying, then we will use bid rate, and if bank is selling, we will use ask rate. After doing this, if you have USD per GBP, okay. If you do not have, use 1 by bid. If you don't have that also, USD by Australian dollar per Singapore dollar plus this plus this plus this, expand it, and then after expanding, few quotes you will directly use, few quotes you will do 1 by bid, few quotes direct, few 1 by bid, 1 by ask. This will keep happening. The cycle will keep happening. Only thing which you have to be cautious is you will have to take a see. Before I started, I said there are 4 possibilities: 1 lakh into 0.8, 1 lakh divided by 0.8, 1 lakh into 0.85, 1 lakh divided by 0.85. Many times you may think it is division, answer will do multiplication. You may think it is bid rate, answer will do ask rate. These are the mistakes we make. These questions, if we are able to answer properly, automatically we will get the right answer. If you are not able to answer this properly, you will end up making mistake. Now write this. Write this: USD is equal to GBP into GBP into, don't write ask first, GBP into USD per GBP. That's first step. Write step by step. Don't write the ask here. Okay. USD is equal to GBP into USD per GBP. Below that, write denominator currency equal to GBP. Denominator currency. Denominator currency equal to GBP. What are we doing? What are we doing with GBP? What are we doing with these questions and all? You need not write this, just for you to get started. What are we doing with GBP? What are you doing with GBP? Buy. What bank will do? Sell, ask rate. Bank will sell at ask rate. Then write ask USD per GBP. Then write ask USD per GBP. Then please write ask USD per GBP. I don't have USD per GBP. I use GBP per USD. I don't have that. I'm using GBP per US dollar, which is 1 by bit. Which is 1 by bit. Any doubts in this? I'll at least do 10-12 examples here so that you get a grip on this. After that, if you are complicating, I cannot help it. As long as you are able to go through the rules properly, answer will 100% come. Equal to, what's the answer? 1 lakh. Please don't write only 1 lakh 25. USD 1 lakh 25. Currency is very, very critical in this area. USD 1 lakh 25,000. It means I need what? US dollar 1 lakh 25,000. I need US dollar 1 lakh 25,000 to buy what? 1 lakh GBP. To buy 1 lakh GBP. And these are typical exam question. Okay. These are typical exam question. This is what will happen. The question will say an exporter wants to buy 1 lakh GBP. They'll give a bigger story. In the end, an exporter or importer wants to buy something. Please calculate it. Please calculate it. Any doubts on this? Just give me a minute. Now, right? How many INR is needed? How much INR? How much INR you will get? You will get by selling 50,000 GBP. By selling 50,000 GBP. How much INR will you get by selling 50,000 GBP? This is the requirement. Okay, very simple requirement. Let's start step by step. We'll do it together. You will also write along with me. Known component is equal to what? 50,000 GBP in bracket. What are you going to do with GBP? Sell. Okay, let me write sell. 50,000 GBP in bracket sell. Unknown component. Question mark INR. Question mark INR. Indirectly you are going to buy INR. Indirectly you are going to buy INR. Indirectly you are going to buy INR. Let's be very clear. I can buy INR. I can sell INR here. Okay, indirectly I am going to buy INR. Step 1 is done. Step 2, I'll have to write my base formula. I'll have to write my base formula. Unknown component will come in the left hand side, known component will come in the right hand side. So what is the formula? INR is equal to GBP into INR by GBP. INR by GBP. Which is the denominator currency? GBP. What are we doing with GBP? Sell. What is the bank going to do? Buy. Bank will buy at bid rate. Clear? Any doubts on this? Fairly simple, straightforward, as long as you're able to follow the rule. Please write below that. What are we doing with, right, denominator currency equal to GBP? What are we doing with GBP? What is bank doing? And how did you decide the rate? Right below that, denominator currency equal to GBP. Denominator currency equal to GBP. What are we doing with GBP? Sell. What is bank going to do? Buy. Bank will buy at bid rate. Now write. Decided bid, okay. INR is equal to GBP bid. Do you have any quote between INR and GBP? Between INR and GBP in the question? No. With INR, what is the connecting currency? INR by USD. Let me cancel the USD. Let me cancel the GBP is there. Okay. INR by USD into USD by GBP. INR by USD into USD by GBP. This is what Forex is all about. If you're able to do this properly, automatically things will fall in place. If this is what, if I'm spending around 30 hours on this chapter, around 15 to 16 hours will go on only in this calculation. Everywhere I'll have to keep doing this calculation. My major chunk of the time will only go in this. How much GBP we have? 50,000 into. Do you have INR per USD in the question? How much is the bid rate? 82 point. Do you have USD per GBP? 1 by the ask rate. Point. Complete this and get the answer. $50,000 82.5 divided by 0.85. I'll get INR how much? 48 lakh. That's all. I'm not writing decimal and all. Doesn't really matter. The materiality is not that high. 48 lakh 52,941. Any doubts on this? Clear? Able to understand this? Next. How many Australian dollar will you get by selling 20,000 US dollar? How many Australian dollar will you get by selling 20,000 US dollar? So when you expand, if there is some error in question, that is, I may not have given all the quotes. If something is error, I will change it and then give you. But this is my question as of now. How many Australian dollar will you get by selling 20,000 USD? By selling 20,000 USD. By selling 20,000 USD. I'll take you through this also. Later on, I'll give you question. You will keep doing it. Give you question, keep doing it. That will be at least for some 10-15 minutes. We will do that so that we get a grip on this area and balances as we proceed. Beyond this, I think this is the stage where I want to reach, that this full clarity has to be there. What is the known component? 20,000 bracket. What are you going to do? Sell. Known component AUD. What is going to happen with AUD? Buy. Step 1 is done. Step 1 is done. Step 2, left hand side, what do you write? AUD is equal to USD into AUD by USD. AUD by USD. What's the denominator currency? USD. What are you going to do with USD? It's there in your notebook. It is written in your notebook. What are you going to do with USD? Sell. What is the bank going to do? Buy. Bank will buy at bid rate. So write bid now. Write bid. Do you have a quote connecting Australian dollar and US dollar? No. AUD is linked with which? Euro or Singapore dollar. I'm not using Singapore dollar because Singapore dollar is not connected with anything else in the question. Singapore dollar is not connected with anything else in the question. I will use euro, then connect euro with GBP, connect GBP with USD, connect ultimately GBP with USD. I'm not using Singapore dollar. I can use Singapore dollar, but what will I connect it with? So AUD by what? Euro into euro by GBP into GBP by USD. If you have, write it, else use 1 by ask. Else use 1 by ask. Any doubts on the expansion? I can keep expanding this way. Any type of question I can do. Any doubts on this? Let me know if there are doubts here. Proceed. Done. So we have 20,000 into. Do you have AUD per euro in the question? How much? Do you have euro per GBP? How much? Do you have GBP per USD? How much? 0.80. You get to the answer. Technically, these numbers can be wrong or dull. I am not bothered much about it. I just drafted one question to explain these things. That's all. What's the answer you get? 43. AUD 43. 6. 0. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Indian exporter has sold goods worth Singapore dollar 10 lakh. What is the realization? Indian exporter has sold goods worth Singapore dollar 10 lakh. What is the realization? What is the realization? So they ask you to do this calculation saying that you are the exporter, you sold goods worth what? Singapore dollar 10 lakh, and assuming these are the rates, you want to know what amount are you going to realize? What amount are you going to realize? Clear? Any doubts on this? Let's start. Known component. 10 lakh SGD, 10 lakh SGD, 10 lakh see, known component is something which you are aware of. That's all. The number which you are aware of. What are you going to do with Singapore dollar? Are you going to buy Singapore dollar or sell Singapore dollar? Sell Singapore dollar because I'm an exporter. I'll get this money, sell it off. I'll sell this Singapore dollar. So in bracket sell. Unknown component in bracket buy. Unknown component in bracket buy. Please do the expansion, everything. The quote may run through 5. You may break it into 5, I think here. Whatever it is, please start doing it. Keep doing it. Let me know in case you get doubt. Is the INR per USD there in the question? How much is the bid rate? 82 point. USD per GBP there. 1 by ask rate is how much? Point. GBP per euro there. 1 by ask rate. 2.5. Euro per Australian dollar. 1 by 2 point. AUD per Singapore dollar. How much? 1 point. This is what the calculation is. I can do any number of codes. It doesn't really matter. As long as the base is set, you can keep doing any type of question. You can keep doing any type of question. So 10 lakh into 82.5 divided by 0.85 divided by 1.25 divided by 2.45 into 1.65, 52 lakh 29,000, sorry, 5 crore 22 lakh, 5 crore 22 lakh 92,917. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Clear? Can you proceed? UK importer, UK importer, UK importer has imported goods worth 1 lakh Australian dollar. What is this payment? Goods worth 1 lakh Australian dollar. 1 lakh Australian dollar. What is this payment? Known component. 1 lakh AUD. What are you going to do with the Australian dollar? Why? Because I have imported goods, so I need Australian dollar. I need Australian dollar. 1 lakh AUD I'll buy. Unknown component. UK question mark GBP. UK question mark GBP. Question mark GBP. In bracket, what are you going to do? Sell. Question mark GBP. We are going to sell. Any doubts on this? First step is done. Second step is expansion. Second step is expansion. GBP is equal to what? AUD into GBP by AUD. GBP by AUD. What is the denominator currency? AUD. What are you doing with AUD? By what is the bank going to do? Sell. Bank will sell at ask rate. Bank will sell at ask rate. This is your second step, deciding the bid or the sorry, third step. That's technically deciding the bid or the ask rate. Expand and then get the answer now. Expand and get the answer. Which is the connecting currency for GBP? If you use USD, you will move forward and go to INR. If you like look at the quote, GBP per USD if you use, then you'll use USD per INR and it will put a stop there. It will put a stop there. You cannot move forward. You cannot move forward. You look at the quote there. You are right. I can use GBP per USD. Then I'll write USD per INR, but then I'll get stuck. So I will use what? GBP per Euro and then Euro per Australian dollar. Euro per Australian dollar, because if you use US dollar, you'll be moving in the up direction where you will get stuck. I wanted to move to the other direction. So ask GBP, GBP by what? Euro into Euro by Australian dollar. I wanted Australian dollar to come in the denominator. I wanted Australian dollar to come in the denominator. There's nothing wrong in what you were saying earlier, but that you will get stuck. So you'll have to repeat anyway then again. Clear? So do you have GBP per euro in the question? 1 by bid how much? 1 point. Do you have euro per Australian dollar? 1 by bid. You'll get to the answer. That's all. Whatever is the answer, that's not my major concern. Just to explain the concept. Any doubts on this? This is what extensively we are going to do. If you are able to pick this up properly, any type of question on Forex will become simpler for us to do. But if you're not able to pick this and then keep making mistakes, I cannot help it. Now, when I gave you so many examples, most of you would have got it right because you don't know much about Forex. Moment you start seeing so many things, you start complicating, then nobody can help you. So as long as clarity is there in your thought process, when you are not aware anything about Forex, you are able to solve it. Moment I ask you this after doing 10 classes, you start making mistakes. That's where my worry is. My worry is once you start knowing more, you start complicating things. That alone control needs to be there. Clear? Can we proceed?